As we've tried to navigate these tough waters through the COVID-19 crisis, I'd like to thank the first responders of the area, the healthcare workers, many of whom are our own residents, and the residents themselves for being cooperative as we try to get through the situation. As of Wednesday, May 5th, the governor issued a new executive order, and it comprises a 5-phase situation where how we will get to the end of this crisis. And let me go through this just in somewhat detail, but not, I'm not a scientist. There's plenty of scientists on TV and the radio who you can deal with, but just kind of give you an overview. Phase 1 is a rapid spread. We've passed that already. Phase 2, where we are now, is a flattening. Phase 3 is a recovery. Phase 4 is a revitalization. And Phase 5, our ultimate goal, is Illinois is restored. As I said, we're in Phase 2 right now. And Phase 2, in order to move from Phase 2 to Phase 3, there's some specific things that have to be done. We have to have at least 20% COVID-19 probability tests and increasing no more than 10 percentage points over a 14-day period. No overall increase in hospital admissions and likenesses for 28 days, and the availability of surge capacity at 14% of intensive care beds, medical surgical beds, and ventilators in the region's hospitals. Just to give you an idea of where we stand now, for the most part, we are in the southwest suburbs. We have had ICU beds. Of the 509 ICU beds in the southwest suburbs, 92 are taken at this point in time. This is as of the 5th. Ventilators, we have 293 ventilators in the southwest suburbs. 253 are being used at this time. So it's constant, but we're wanting to get to a decreasing number in that situation. I've been in constant contact with the hospital, and we've talked off and on over the days for the last 3-4 weeks or so, just they assure me that, and they keep me appraised that they are doing everything in compliance with the Illinois Department of Public Health and the CDC, and they always work with us as far as helping us with our residents and any needs that we have. I would like to thank all of the residents, again, for all they do. We've tried to keep the parks open, Lake Catherine open. I do ask that as we do that, you pay respects to the other individuals who are there. Keep your 6-foot distancing between the people. If you're on the bike path, if you're on the walking path, and you come up to someone, step apart. If you're a bicyclist and on the same path as a walker, when you come up behind them, let them know you're there, so that you actually don't run into them. We've had situations such as that, and we don't need that type of thing. Residents have been great, and we've had to close down the pickleball courts, the basketball courts, and that's for everyone's own safety. We're not trying to be ogres here. The idea is to keep everyone safe and get us through this situation. Get us out of Phase 2 to Phase 3, where we can use the services we have in town here. And speaking of that, one of the worst things, or one of the things that are impacted the most, as you know, are our small businesses. We're quite fortunate that we do have a number of restaurants over the years, say the last 20 years. We've gone from basically having a lot of small shops to many more restaurants, and many of them have been able to adapt with curbside pickup, carry out, and things such as that. The people who have not been able to are those small retail operations. Just looking down Harlem Avenue, think about it. We've got a religious store. There were no First Communions this year. She was impacted dramatically. You've got a situation where you've got a dress shop. There was no proms. How does that affect their bottom line? We've got Mother's Day coming up this weekend. In past, you may have given spa treatments to your mother. You may have given flowers. That's not available. So what we've done here in Palos Heights is we've tried to come up with a program to help those merchants. And starting April 1st and running through July 1st, if you spend $100 in those stores and have receipts, you are entitled from the city of Palos Heights here at City Hall, once our offices do open up, and I'll get back to that in a second, to get a $50 worth of vehicle stickers, which is 2 vehicle stickers. You can also get 30 coins for the metro station, or $100 in credits for programs at Lake Catherine or in the rec center. That's all done there to get people to use the local retailers and try to get them back on their feet. Now, this is not going to, once we get from phase 2 to phase 3, this isn't going to just open up. It's going to be a hard road. I envision, and it actually is part of the different phases the governor has, that when restaurants open, they're not going to be open at full capacity. Different stores are not going to be open at full capacity, as they are now. So this is going to be hard, but we've came up with this program to try to help the residents. Let me just go back a little bit, digress, if I may. As part of this whole operation with the governor's order, when you're outside in the general public, you have to wear a face mask, okay? When you're in the gin stores, you have to wear a face mask if it's open to the general public. If you're operating your business and you have workers there, if they cannot keep 6-foot distance or are not in separate offices, they also have to have face masks. So as I said, for the most part, everyone has been super as far as being compliant to this, but we want to just remind everybody this is where we are. City Hall is open. We don't have access for the public, but we have people manning the phones. Obviously, the police department is on staff and has been all throughout this, as is Public Works. Public Works department is working. You'll notice now we have started to go back to the chipper service. As far as refuse pickup, that is back in normal now after being suspended for a little bit. So for the most part, I think our public services and things such as that are being provided to the residents. If you have a problem, call us at City Hall. We're there. As far as what's going to happen in the summer, I wish I could tell you. Some of those decisions we cannot make until we go into the next phase, and I envision we'll be making those decisions probably in June, in early June. The first thing I could envision probably being open would be a farmer's market. That seems to be something that's being done in a couple suburbs just last weekend for the first time, and we're doing some research as far as how they're accomplishing that to see if we could adapt that to our situation. 4th of July, whether it be for the festivities or for the parade, is a throw-up right now, as is a concert series. I wish I could tell you, it's all going to be normal, but quite frankly, as you know, it's not normal, and we're learning to adapt to it. So again, thank you all for all you've done for us and done for each other. I mean, this is not something that we're doing this for each other. I mean, to keep everybody safe. We have a population in Palos Heights. The demographics, as many of you know, kind of skews towards the older population, and those are the people that are most vulnerable. So you may think, hey, I don't need a face mask. I'm not going to get sick. But there's maybe someone you come in contact with who is vulnerable and who could actually get sick. So stay healthy, be safe, do the best you can, and we're there when you need us. And again, thank you very much.